A massive pot bust in Lakeshore raises the question, how well do you know your neighbors? I'm Karen Brady. I'll have that story tonight. Susan, it appears that low housing prices and people who keep to themselves make this area prime pickings for illicit drug activity. If you normally get a chunk of cash back at tax time, be prepared. This year might be different. I'm Karen Brady. I'll tell you what you need to know tonight. Well, it turns out a lot of people aren't aware of the changes to the way the province hands out tax refunds. And if you're on the edge of poverty, it's a bitter pill to swallow. I have to stress that people will still be getting the same payment. It'll just come in 12 installments. And of course, you may still get a lump sum back if you qualify for other kinds of rebates, like if you invest in your RRSPs. So, the grand savings on our small bundle of goods, $12.26. And that's finding some killer deals on milk and cheese at Food Basics in Canada. Now, $12 may not seem like much, but to the working poor in Canada, they might disagree. So we're going to take our purchases to the food bank. A sharp clerk at the Money Mart location you see behind me is being credited with helping to bust the counterfeit operation. The suspect went in, tried to cash a check, and when staff became suspicious, she fled. She was then bold enough to try cashing a check immediately at another Money Mart location where Windsor police arrested her. Well, if you know Eddie Francis, you know he means business when he talks about revitalizing the city's core. And today he didn't mince words when he said if the university didn't provide that stimulus and soon, he'd look elsewhere.
Did you learn anything about rapping?
I did. I took some advice from the students and I actually wrote my own little rhyme. So here goes, and be nice. I could have studied math, but I took a different path. I'm a reporter. I write my stories in short order. I like to get the facts right, keep it tight, help people see the light, keep the politicians dreaming, not scheming, have you believing this town deserves a crown and not a frown. I like the CBC, and that's the way it's gotta be.
Word.
What?
Do not quit your day job, Karen.
No kidding. Someone's come by and cut them, but as for construction crews and cranes and that sort of thing, not a lot happening. Now, we know the Ministry of Health has approved site plans for a new long-term care facility here, but LV Concord Contracting has yet to file building permits with the city. And nearby residents confirm there's nothing happening on the site. These are the new faces of downtown Windsor, students. Jarrell Paris is a second-year journalism student. He's helping to shoot a promotional video for St. Clair's new Convergence journalism program. He lives downtown and he loves it.
I think being downtown is important. It's convenient, and I think that downtown is the heart of Windsor. I think there's a lot more to it than people actually realize in terms of like arts and culture, and the Mediaplex I think is just bringing a different dynamic and just a lot of opportunities.
That opportunity is not lost on BIA Director Chris Edwards.
It is the one thing that we can do now to change the spots on the dog down here.
There are about 1,000 St. Clair College students and faculty downtown, and they want to take advantage of what the urban core has to offer.
There's enough places that we can go on our breaks. It's not like we're stuck at a campus all day.
College President John Strasser says retailers, they tend to come and go, but post-secondary institutions, they stick around. And he's hearing from businesses and landlords the downtown students are making a difference.
There's been a significant impact. I mean, increase in sales, increase of traffic flow. The college, for us, has been a great success.
Still, other business owners say there's not yet enough students to really see the downtown blossom economically and socially. But there's hope. This week, University President Alan Wildeman hinted that they are serious about their plans to bring some programs into the core, and they'd like to make something happen in the next year.
I think we have a really important role to play in the community, and I would say that it's a role that we have not yet fully developed.
That's one story these journalism students can tell, and that everyone vested in the success of downtown would love to hear. Karen Brady, CBC News, Windsor. The Capellinos built their dream home in LaSalle about 10 years ago. After coming home to a flood in their basement one night last fall, they learned they would have to spend $13,000 to fix the problem.
Water was just spewing out like a waterfall. A pipe had totally burst. So it was a reaction of, this is going to cost me a lot of money, isn't it?
The Capolinos said after a home inspection, the Canadian manufacturer IPEX told them that the cause of their leak was defective pipes, pipes that were running throughout their entire house.
He said he had to take a part of it back to his company to get it tested, but indicated that if it was his pipe, basically he would have it replaced.
The Capolinos are not alone. Plumbers are getting more and more calls about a particular brand of pipe called Kitech or PEX. According to this plumber, if you built or remodeled your home in the last 7 to 10 years, it's very likely Kitech was used.
I even have some in my house as well, but because we didn't know, we thought it was good.
Fowler says the blue and orange pipes, which carry drinking water from your basement to the rest of your house, have a tendency to blister and burst prematurely. And that's causing a whole lot of headaches for homeowners. And the only way to fix the problem?
Most of what I've read and heard is the fact that if you have it, you need to replace it. That it's gone from whether or not it'll fail to when it'll fail.
Tim Teague says the company recalled Kitech brass fittings in 1995. National class action lawsuits in Canada and the U.S. alleged the fittings were faulty, causing the pipes to disintegrate. IPEX wouldn't comment on the allegations, but court documents say that IPEX denies any wrongdoing, and the Canadian company apparently has a newer problem-free product on the market. But the lawsuit has received preliminary notice of approval for settlement, and the preliminary settlement fund is worth a hefty $125 million U.S. Kitech settlement hearings are scheduled in the courts next November. If you think you might be affected, Tim Teague suggests you contact a trusted plumber and have him check out your pipes. And for more information, you can look at the website kitechclassaction.ca. Karen Brady, CBC News, LaSalle. Susan, last week we told you about the auto parts supplier Ground Effects that's recently got into the business of manufacturing modular survival shelters. Now, since we talked last week, they've had to put the pedal to the metal to meet demand. Today's the day. Employees at Ground Effects are shipping the first batch of high-tech shelters to Haiti.
A lot of people working lots of extra hours around the clock at all our facilities to get ready for this.
It was a pretty serious situation, so for us to be directly involved and having a hand in helping out, it was a good feeling.
Last week, Jim Scott said his company has been transformed overnight by the Haiti crisis. But that was just the beginning. When word got out he was hiring 90 people to meet the needs of his new business, the resumes came pouring in.
I think we had 600 resumes that first day. I think 200 or 250 the second day, and I think we get about 60 to 80 every day since then. So obviously the community is in need of work.
It wasn't easy meeting today's deadline. They had to rent 2 new buildings in less than a week, and they were waiting on last-minute parts right up till this morning. 30 shelters leave today.
Everything is in one nice little box, and hopefully many more to come.
The latest media reports indicate the temporary shelters Haitians are relying on won't withstand the approaching rainy season. Scott says that won't be the case with his modular shelters. They last up to 10 years and are made to withstand a hurricane. And the shelters are easily assembled with a screwdriver.
Our units are airtight, they're waterproof. They're in Haiti now laying pads and concrete pads and also crushed stone pads to accept our units. Our units will be lagged down there.
Save the Children is sending a plane to meet this truck in Miami on Monday, where it will be loaded for Haiti. The first of many shipments in the months to come. Lily Mergel has lived across the street from the former Grace Hospital for 5 years. Progress has been promised time and time again, but nothing's happened yet.
I have a lot of pride in my house, and I've been a West Ender almost all my life, and I am proud of where I'm from, but what can you do about this, you know? It feels like I live in Detroit.
You just have to have patience, because what can you do, you know? But you think they'd at least cut the grass.
As much as this is a constant problem for residents, it's an even more serious problem for those waiting for long-term care beds. A new facility in East Windsor is currently under construction. It's scheduled to open next January. But Malden Park will be shutting its doors this fall, essentially keeping Windsor's most vulnerable residents on a long wait list for long-term care.
Currently, the wait lists are long. As clients wait longer, their care needs increase.
Pam Roth says current wait times for long-term care can range from 3 months to 4 years. And she says 2 new variables are at play. New regulations took effect in July, changing eligibility for long-term care wait lists. And new beds haven't been added to the system in so long, she says it's hard to tell how much wait times will improve.
We are kind of going into our uncharted territory. We're not quite sure. We're certainly looking at a shorter wait list, shorter time to placement, but we're not sure how those two variables are going to impact the wait lists.
Shorter wait times are certainly dependent on what happens here in the West End. The Grace Village development will add more than 250 long-term care beds. It was scheduled to open last March. Financial problems have stalled the development. This homeowner says CUPE isn't being a good neighbor. The union is moving its garbage out to the curb, so Mike Homey complained to the health unit.
Oh yeah, the rats are running across the street, down the alley, everything's terrible.
He says he saw CUPE members making the pile, and his neighbor shot a video of the incident and posted it on YouTube.
And about a week ago, there was a guy in a blue Chevy pickup. He was moving garbage here, and he went right in the CUPE building and come out with garbage bags. So you've got a pretty good idea he's a CUPE member.
The video also shows a child helping a CUPE member add to the pile. The neighbors are not impressed.
Our neighborhood has always been kept clean, and the neighbors are all very proud of their properties, and we're trying to maintain, that the city at least look decent through this tough time. And they're making a mess, which is totally illegal. If we did that, we'd get fined.
CUPE knows it has a public relations problem. Its response?
They're not mad at us. They're not mad at me as the president. They're mad because they want their services back. I don't blame them.
CUPE admits it's union garbage. Jean Fox said she helped move it to the curb to make room for a fun camp for CUPE members' children.
We had it at the front of the building. We couldn't keep it there any longer. There was larvae and flies, and it was getting hot and very stinky. And for safety reasons, which I guess Dr. Hyman doesn't think there are in Windsor, that he hasn't been down very many alleys, we had to move it, and this is the only place we could put it.
Dr. Hyman, the medical officer of health, ordered the city to pick up the growing trash pile. His health officers said they couldn't determine who had dumped the garbage, so it was up to the city to remove it. The order also includes the removal of a giant pile of residential garbage from the alley next door to CUPE. City officials wouldn't comment on when the garbage would be picked up or how they felt about having to pick up the tab for the CUPE mess. Just after interviewing CUPE, this man took garbage out of the trunk of his car and added it to the pile. Can you comment about why you're throwing your garbage in the pile there?
Because we got to get rid of it.
Well, but that's illegal, right? To dump garbage elsewhere, not on your property?
We're not here.
Karen Brady, CBC News, Windsor.